Hare Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Hare Krishna. So we will today Paroji has Bhagavatam class, so we will not be having Krishna Chakravarti Thakur's commentary now. We will be having discussion on Srila Prabhupada's purport for today. So we'll just summarize what we have discussed yesterday. So we are discussing this very important section of Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll just summarize. We were discussing first section is the prayers of Sutta Goswami, and second section he answers the two questions and establishes what is the highest dharma and what dharma should not be for, not for sense gratification. It is only for apavarga, and it should develop taste for Krishna Katha, and whatever little bit we are doing, whatever dharma we are doing, it is just for the bare maintenance of human life, and remaining time it is meant for Tattva Jignasa. And what is that? Generally in youth, people try for Tattva. They want to understand what is the truth. When they get bored, then they start doing sense gratification. But then he explains what is the Tattva, and that is Bhaktya Shruta Grihitya. It can be understood three forms of Tattva, and it is understood by Bhakti. And then he says that's why Tasma Dekena Manasa. That is the of course he says Varnashram Vibhagasha is also Swanishtita Siddharmasa Samsiddhi Haritoshnam. Even Varnashram is also for Haritoshnam. And in the last look of that section he says that therefore with one pointed attention we should worship, glorify, hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is how the last section ends. And this section which starts from Shrushradhanasya. So we are discussing how first comes the Stam Krupa, the mercy of devotee. So we will just revise this section also. This is a very important section we need to revise. And Satam Krupa means the devotees, they feel compassion for somebody. And that is the most important part of it. And without actually mercy of devotees, we cannot achieve any of these things. We are looking at people down, then feeling I am better than that, we cannot do much. But if we really feel some compassion, seeing the spirit soul, then we can really benefit. Then this is a very important aspect. And then the second stage is Mahat Seva. Like there is one story, there is one pastime of Srila Prabhupada. There was one devotee shares that he was in Texas in America, and he happened to go to Manhattan. He's 17 years old. In vacation, he wanted to visit the city and enjoy. He goes walking, and somewhere in Manhattan, he was just walking in some street, and suddenly some old Indian person also started walking besides him, and he started speaking to him with his Indian accent. And this boy did not understand anything. And they just walked for a few blocks, and he went on his way, and Prabhupada went. This boy didn't understand anything, but he understood one thing, that he has something very important to tell. He's very convinced of what he's saying, but he didn't understand much. Then he says that, but slowly he started feeling some attraction for yoga and meditation and all these things. And somehow he slowly went and landed up in San Francisco temple with all these inclinations. And one day he was taking darshan of deities, and he looked very carefully in the altar, and he saw Prabhupada's photo. Immediately remembered, maybe this is the person I met, and there must be some connection. I am here and this person is there. There should be some connection. He was not understanding. And some 2-3, maybe some time passed, and then he heard that Prabhupada is coming. And then he said, yes, this person is coming. Maybe this is some connection is there. And some other place Prabhupada is coming, and he went to the airport, and so many devotees were there, and he was stay somewhere long because nobody knows Prabhupada is coming first time he's saying, and he was standing somewhere far, and everybody offered obeisances. He also offered obeisances, and Prabhupada directly came to him and stopped. This is after many years, just small interaction. And then Prabhupada looked at him and said, "Oh, at last you came. I was waiting for you for so long." So Prabhupada remembered, and that small interaction with which he had with Prabhupada immediately gave that faith in that, means it changed the person's whole life, and he got inclination towards bhakti. This is called Stam Kripa, the mercy of a devotee. Like now, very important how this formula works, and this is a very interesting. Actually, this is a very important thing. Like in Padma Puran, it is said that Bhakti Devi, she is there is a conversation with Narada Muni in Bhagavad Mahatmya. Many things are there. That one important thing is Bhakti Devi. She every deity, everybody has their vehicles. If you are a big company CEO, you will have a Mercedes, and if you are a president, you have limousine, and if you are based on your status, you have your vehicle, and if you are some demigod like Brahma, you have Swan, or Shiva has Nandi. But Bhakti Devi, she has her vehicle. What is the vehicle? Her vehicle is the heart of a devotee. So she travels on that. Now, interestingly, like it is said that Bhakti first manifests in South India and flourishes very nicely. And then it goes to the western part of India. And also it is said Bhakti one day it travels on a ship and goes to other countries. And it is how Prabhupada traveled from the heart of Prabhupada, Bhakti Devi went. And now, very interesting, this is very important, we should all remember. And very, very fundamental thing, like when Prabhupada was at Boston, he didn't even reach New York City, Boston. That time he writes this Markan Bhagavad Dharma song, and in that he writes these 4 shlokas, which we are discussing now. What does this shlokas? This is very important. It means so much actually. Now, Prabhupada had so much faith on these shlokas. He knows that because if this Mahat Kripa is there, and if these people serve me, definitely they'll get bhakti. So Prabhupada had complete faith in this formula, and he writes this. He was so, he's insecure in one way. He said, Krishna, why did you bring me to this horrible place? And then he feels, no, but if they do, this formula he writes, if they have Shrunvatam Sakata Krishna, so if they hear, if they serve me, then bhakti will definitely come because there is Mahat Seva. And this actually what happens, this formula. Prabhupada complete faith on this formula, and we should also have this formula. And this is how bhakti appears in the heart of any person. And Prabhupada, right? And we see that Prabhupada was once in London, and he was going with morning walk, this time probably. And there were English men, they have very gentleman behaviors. So Prabhupada was walking and he used to say good morning, anybody sees. And Prabhupada disciples thought, why Prabhupada is saying good morning? Why he is not saying Hare Krishna? I know what, this is Maya. So they could not resist. They asked, Prabhupada, why are you saying good morning? Why are you not saying Hare Krishna? Prabhupada said, if I say good morning, they will also in return reply good morning, and they wish well. And if they wish well to devotees, and their service will start. And Prabhupada said, if we say Hare Krishna, then they will just leave away. They will not respond. So, but if they start service, That's all. Their devotion service begins, and this is the formula. So if uh, once the Mahat Krupa comes, Satam Krupa, then they develop this, some inclination will be there, some pain in their heart. There is a shadow of a desire to do something for a devotee. They feel good for a devotee? Internal respect is there. That is also a service. And we see like Prabhupada was in Second Avenue, and he was 26 Second Avenue, was giving class. When hippie comes, he goes to the washroom and he sees there is no toilet paper. He goes and brings a toilet paper and gives. Bro, he's a hippie, he don't know anything, he didn't hear anything, but he thought there are some good people, let me do something for them. Prabhupada said yes, his devotional service started. So this is then the third stage comes, that is the Shraddha. And this is the very important moment we discussed yesterday also, that there is a feeling that I need bhakti. I need mercy of a devotee. And this comes in the heart. And before that, I never know that I need bhakti. But I thought I need many other things, my mobile and Wi-Fi connection and car and other things. And then we feel this Shraddha. We discussed today, but I'm just revising because this is a very important concept. And then we feel that, hey, without bhakti, how I can be? So this should happen. This is a shadow of faith. And when faith appearance, suddenly understand I cannot live the way I am living. So there is some feeling that something is wrong in me. This is what should happen. Like feel that, oh, I am spending my time in vain, and then despite everything is normal only, but will not feel comfortable. This is what happens. This is the third stage. And after the Shraddha appears, then there is an acceptance of Guru. This is the important thing. Why? Because if you have Shraddha or some kind of faith, then means I want to follow a path. That means I need to accept definitely Guru, because I need some guidance. I need to learn something else. If I try to do on my own, it will only be a waste of time. Nothing will happen. Is very important. That means we get some humility. Yes, I need to learn something, and I need to receive knowledge. Without humility, there is no knowledge. And because the knowledge flows from top to bottom, knowledge comes from up. It cannot be achieved on our own. And now we all remember, like when we come, many of us initially there are of course now also all of you are humble, but sometimes we are humble, especially myself. The initial stage I was very humble. And then what happens is this is very important. When we accept a guru, then devotional service begins. And I accept it because without understanding I need to follow, we cannot start devotional service. Devotional service is through Tad Anugami. We have to follow the footsteps. And that's why Rupa Goswami is very clearly telling Guru Padashray and Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam. This is what we need to take shelter of Guru, and we need to serve him. We need to accept his protection. We also discussed yesterday. Protection from what? Protection from our mind, which is having so many doubts and desires and so many things. And also it is very weak in the initial, because the faith is weak initially. We need to develop the faith. So with the help of Guru, we can have nice. Now then comes this, this is called Bhajaneshu Spruha. That means we start practicing bhajan. We come take shelter of Guru and we accept a spiritual master. I want to chant mantra and practice all these things. And then comes that after bhajana comes anartha nivritti. We begin to free ourselves from the anarthas. Uh, because when we are living the way we are living, as long as we are living, I want, then I want to be, it is good only for us. We feel that, oh, I am good. We feel it's a very nice thing, and I am also a very nice person. But when we want to change ourselves, we have to observe ourselves from outside. Then only we'll be able to see what exactly I am, what is my problem. That happens when we come in the association of a saintly person. Otherwise, we think I am good, I'm a noble person, I do my duty, I care about others also, and so many things. You see, they're all false conceptions only because we didn't understand what exactly we are, which is all based on false desires, the desire to enjoy this material world, all these things which people are doing. But when a person begins to serve, when he start doing bhajan, then the anarthas start appearing. Then we start observing ourselves from outside, and then then we really become little humbled because it is impossible without uh, that is why it is very important that to do bhajan we have to recognize somebody above. That's the reason we need a guru. Otherwise, if somebody is doing say sadhana, I don't need guru, it's an illusion, not possible. And to get rid of anarthas also, of course, first slowly what happens is when we start engaging in so all the bad things start coming out. Not that they are not there, we are able to see them slowly. And this is the next process. And like because we our life is whole is fulfillment of our desires only, then we understand no, it's not the way we should do. And these desires are so much in our heart. People, they acquire desires, the desire getting is very simple, maybe that will not discuss now. But what happens is we will see some hypocrisy there. I am a devotee, but I have so many other material desires also. And when we understand that, then we have made progress. That's how it is. Anyway, so we will just read some part of the purport. And this is very interesting how Prabhupada had complete faith that these people, if they serve me, they will get devotion. That's why he is writing this slokas only of this chapter when he is entering, when he is just about to enter into America. He said, this place is so much Rajoguna and Tamoguna, you brought me here. But this will work. This formula works. Prabhupada had faith. So we will try to memorize these shlokas. It's very important. We'll just start from 16th onwards. We'll repeat it. And maybe once from today, we will just do first shloka, and we will try to section wise, we will read the shlokas. So, शुश्रूषोषद्दधानस्य वासुदेवकथारुचि महत्सेवया विप्रा पुण्यतीर्थनिषेवनात्. We will just read shloka, maybe 2 times we'll read. 3 times because I am taking so much. This section is so important, and that's why I'm giving some more time. I want even still I am not satisfied that I have sufficiently justified it, but we cannot. We have to move on because we have to cover so many other purposes. But please, as we discussed also, you please try to discuss these purports and this especially slow sections, these 2 sections, with at least 3 times so that it will stick in our system. And this is the fundamental formula. Prabhupada, based on this, complete faith on this shlokas and section, Prabhupada went to America and he made the difference. And this is what he writes in Jalduta also. शुश्रूषोषद्दधानस्य वासुदेवकथारुचिषान्महत्सेवया विप्रा पुण्यतीर्थनिषेवनात्. शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदयन्तस्थो हि अभद्राणि वितनोति सुहृत्सताम्. शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदयन्तस्थो हि अभद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सताम्. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. I know you all know this shloka. And तदा राजस्तमो भावः कामलोभादयश्च ये चेतयेतेरनाविद्धं सत्ते प्रसीदति तथा राजस्तमो भावः कामलोभादयश्च ये एतेरनाविद्धम् इदं सत्ये प्रसीदति. We'll just read till 21st and then we will go for the purport of it. एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवद्विज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते. एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवद्विज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते. विद्यते हृदय ग्रन्थिस् चिन्तन्ते सर्वसंशया क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे. विद्यते हृदय ग्रन्थिस् चिन्तन्ते सर्वसंशया क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे. So we will go back to our purpose. So this is till maybe tomorrow also we will recite this shlokas. So here this shloka says nashta prayesha abhadre. So the first, this is the important part, is nashta prayesha abhadreshu. All the anartha nivritti is happening nityam bhagavata sevaya, by nityam bhagavata, by regularly recitation of bhagavata, that means by doing our sadhana regularly. Bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. We will get naishtiki bhakti. That means we will be situated at the stage of nishtha. So we have satam krupa mahat seva, and then we have bhajaneshu, of course, shraddha, then sadhu sangha, then bhajaneshu spruha, then this bhajana and anartha nivritti. This is the stage of nishtha. So this is how the stage. Of course, we will be having detailed discussion from Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. I am not going to take in detail. I am just giving an overview so that it will be helpful for you to remember, and it will be more easy and you can memorize it. And Prabhupada Roj is going to discuss on Vishnu Chakravarti, is going to discuss on Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. But we'll go to Prabhupada's purport. It's a very nice purport. Prabhupada's by regular attendance in class on Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. This part of destroying, tomorrow I'll discuss, because we have to cover some purports. So if I tell, we will not have any purport covering on it. So this section I will just briefly I will explain tomorrow also. Here is the remedy for eliminating all inauspicious things within the heart which are considered to be obstacles in the path of self-realization. The remedy is the association of Bhagavatas. There are two types of Bhagavatas, namely the book Bhagavata and the devotee Bhagavata. Both the Bhagavatas are competent remedies. Both of them or either of them can be good enough to eliminate the obstacles. Devotee Bhagavata is as good as the book Bhagavata, because the devotee Bhagavata leads his life in terms of the book Bhagavata, and the book Bhagavata is full of information about the personality of Godhead and his pure devotees who are also Bhagavatas. Bhagavat book and person are identical. So this is very clear what Prabhupada is telling. The devotee Bhagavata is direct representation of Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. So by pleasing the devotee Bhagavata, one can receive the benefit of the book Bhagavata. Human reason fails to understand how by serving the devotee Bhagavata or the book Bhagavata, one gets gradual promotion on the path of devotion. But actually, these are facts explained by Srila Naradev, who happened to be a maidservant's son in his previous life. The maidservant was engaged in menial service of the sage, and thus he also came into contact with him. And simply by associating with them and accepting the remnants of foodstuffs left by the sages, the son of the maidservant got the chance to become the great devotee and personality Srila Naradadev. These are the miraculous effects of association of Bhagavatas. And to understand these effects practically, it should be noted that by such sincere association of Bhagavatas, one is sure to receive transcendental knowledge very easily, with the result that he becomes fixed in the service of the Lord. More progress is made in devotional service under the guidance of Bhagavatas, the more one becomes fixed in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The message of book Bhagavata, therefore, have to be received from the devotee Bhagavata. And the combination of these two Bhagavatas will help the new devotee to make progress on and on. So Prabhupada is making that point that this is a miraculous effect. It cannot be understood by human logic. That's why Narada Muni, even though he was son of a maid servant, became such a great personality of like Narada. And by the association of both book Bhagavata and person Bhagavata will make progress in spiritual life. This is what Prabhupada is so convinced. That's why he went. He said, Prabhupada is humble, but he knows he is a devotee. He said, if I go to the West and people look at me, people render little service to me, then they will make progress. Prabhupada has complete faith, and just by this formula, bhakti in his heart, he went to West, made the form, made a difference. This is Prabhupada has such faith on these statements of Bhagavatam. So, anybody want to say anything? Question, comments? Okay, we'll go for next week. तथा राजस्तमो भावः कामलोभादयश्चये एते तेन नावृद्धं हितं सत्ये प्रसीदति. So here, as soon as irrevocable loving service is established, so when a person comes to the this previous stage, it is talking about nishtha, and a person comes at the stage of nishtha. So the next stage comes is irrevocable service established. Effects of nature's mode of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappears from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness, and he becomes completely happy. What happens is then he get, and after Richi there is Nishta, Asakti and Ruchi. Asakti means there is some taste. So as long as we have this passion and ignorance, there is lust and desire and hankering in the heart. This will not go even after Nishta also. But after, when person crosses the stage of Nishta, then he start developing taste. So that is Asakti. Asakti means a strong taste for it. But then there comes Ruchi, then he cannot live without it. He got addicted for it, intoxicated. At the stage of Asakti, he can live without Krishna also to some extent. For him, he has taste, but okay, without Krishna also he can survive. But Ruchi, he cannot live only without Krishna. So the devotee is established and becomes completely happy. This is there are the two stages that is given. The living being in his normal constitutional position is fully satisfied in spiritual bliss. This state of existence is called Brahma Bhuta, Srimad Bhagavatam 4:30-20, or Atmananda, or a state of self-satisfaction. This self-satisfaction is not like the satisfaction of the inactive fool. The inactive fool is in the state of foolish ignorance, whereas the self-satisfied Atmanandi is transcendental to the material state of existence. This state of perfection is attained as soon as one is fixed in irrevocable devotional service. Devotional service is not inactivity, but the unalloyed activity of the soul. The soul's activity becomes adulterated in contact with matter, and as such, the diseased activities are expressed in the form of lust, desire, hankering, inactivity, foolishness, and sleep. The effect, so these are the this is a state when we are in contact with matter, that is, these are the mode of passion and ignorance. The effect of devotional service become manifested by complete elimination of these effects of passion and ignorance. Devotee is fixed at once in the mode of goodness, and he further progresses to rise to the position of Sudev, or the state of unmixed or Shuddha Sattva. Only in this Shuddha Sattva state can one always see Krishna face to face by dint of pure affection for the Lord. The devotee is always in mode of unalloyed goodness, therefore he harms no one. But the non-devotee, however educated he may be, is always harmful. So this is very important. Non-devotee is always harmful. A devotee is neither foolish nor passionate. The harmful, why why non-devotee is harmful? Because of his material desires. He may be a very kind person, but his desires are to enjoy in this material. That's why it is dangerous. A devotee is neither foolish nor passionate. The harmful, foolish, and passionate cannot be devotee of the Lord. However, they may advertise themselves as devotees by outward dress. A devotee is always qualified with all the good qualities of God. Quantitatively, such qualifications may be different. Qualitatively, both the Lord and his devotees are in the same, one and the same. Question is there are two questions. What about practicing sadhakas? Are they harmless? Yes, practicing sadhakas are always harmless. So there is another question. Ruchi comes before asakti, right? Explain. So first comes asakti, then ruchi. That's what I remember. Asakti and ruchi. If anybody so I remember. Okay, we will go for any other questions, comments. Yes, bro.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanat Pranam. Prabhuji, Ruchi comes before Asakti.
Oh, Ruchi comes first. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji. So that's the reason I was a little confused. Yeah.
Okay. First comes taste. First comes then adventure.
So yeah. So the your explanation remain the same, but it's just reverse, right, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the
In
stage of
Asakti,
Asakti, then they will not be able to live without that.
Yeah. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for.
No.
Sorry for the mistake. Yes, Muktakesh bro.
Dhanat Prabhu. So, like last verse, it was told by serving book Bhagavad and serving person Bhagavad, we get what we call Krishna prem like that.
Yes.
So, I mean, like I was just thinking that in our case we cannot physically serve Bhagavad, but we can hear Srimad Bhagavad from Bhagavad like that. So, by hearing from Bhagavad devotees, we are getting both the what do you call? We are serving both the Bhagavatas. Like we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from a Bhagavat person like that. So both the things are like that.
Yes. We actually by reading Prabhupada book also it is a service. It is already Madhyamadikari stage. Sincerely reading Prabhupada book and we are distributing, we are speaking Prabhupada book. It is staying in ISKCON and rendering service is serving Prabhupada only. So we are already serving Mahabhagavats.
Yes.
Yes. So we will just evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatah bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. So this is a very nice shloka. Thus established in mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord, gains positive scientific knowledge of personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 7.3, it is said that out of many thousands of ordinary men, one fortunate man endeavors for perfection in life. Mostly men are conducted by the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus they are engaged always in lust, desires, hankering, ignorance, and sleep. Out of many such man-like animals, there is actually a man who knows the responsibility of human life and thus tries to make life perfect by following the prescribed duties. And out of many thousands of such men who have thus attained success in human life, one may know scientifically about the personality of God Sri Krishna. In the same Bhagavad Gita 18.55, it is also said that the scientific knowledge of Sri Krishna is understood only by the process of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga. This is actually very important. Many people, actually, I was hearing from very famous Sri Vaishnava preacher, and he is the most famous, and many people hear to him. And yesterday, I happened to visit my mother, and I was playing what she hears. I was playing that, and I saw that the way they are presenting is right, but philosophical means the presentation, oration is very nice, but so much uh, uh, understanding, there is so much lack in understanding, even though they are trying to help and explain that bhakti should be done and all, everything is right, but when it comes to philosophical understanding, it is not completely good. This scientifically understanding about supreme personality of Godhead is not available all the places. They are very fortunate by Prabhupada's purports and Prabhupada's mercy, how he has explained it so in a simple way. And very small, but it is not correct. their understanding is very much wrong. And I explained to my mother, see, this is wrong. My mother, no, he's such a great person. he learned on all these things. I gave her example and made her understand. And she immediately understood, yeah, this is wrong. Means, of course, he is very exalted. He already went back to Godhead also. But such a very intricate, fine way of explaining, because if you don't explain, people get confused. If they really start thinking, uh, people, most of them, they remain on a sentimental platform. They say, okay, we heard some lecture and we did some ritual, and that's all. Our day is finished. Our day is done. No, but we have to carefully sit and develop our buddhi. Dadami buddhi yogam taman. Krishna is telling this buddhi yoga is very important. Buddhi means we have to analyze, we have to put our head, especially intelligence. We have to consciously understand. Then only it is possible. It is not some sentimental thing. Okay, every day I have to make attendance of 1 hour in the class of Bhagavatam, 2 hours in class of Bhagavatam. I heard. So today's ritual is completed. If you do in a ritual form, we are not going to get. It's an endeavor, it's a hard work. Hard work means every time you have to put an effort, try to understand whatever little bit, also we have to make an endeavor, otherwise we are not going to make it. We'll remain on a sentimental platform. Shastra Shraddha is very important. The very same thing is confirmed here in the above words. No ordinary man or even one who has attained success in human life can know scientifically or perfectly the personality of God. Perfection of human life is attained when one can understand that he is not the product of matter, but is in fact spirit. And as soon as one understands that has nothing to do with matter, he at once ceases his material hankering and becomes enlivened as a spiritual being. This attainment of success is possible when one is above the modes of passion and ignorance, or in other words, when one is actually a Brahmana by qualification. A Brahmana is the symbol of Sattva Guna or mode of goodness, and others who are not in mode of goodness are either Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, or less than the Shudras. The Brahmanical stage is the highest stage of human life because of its good qualities. So, one cannot be a devotee unless one at least qualifies as a Brahmana. The devotee is already a Brahmana by action. But that is not the end of it. As referred to the above, such a Brahmana has to become a Vaishnava, in fact, to be actually in the transcendental stage. A pure Vaishnava is a liberated soul and is transcendental even to the position of a Brahmana. In the marital stage, even a Brahmana is also a conditioned soul, because although in the Brahminical stage the conception of Brahman or transcendence is realized, scientific knowledge of the personality of God it is lacking. One has to surpass the Brahminical stage and reach the Vasudeva stage to understand the personality of Godhead Krishna. The science of the personality of Godhead is a subject matter for study by the postgraduate students in the spiritual line. Foolish men or men with a poor fund of knowledge do not understand the Supreme Lord, and they interpret Krishna according to their respective whims. This fact is, however, that one cannot understand the science of personality of Godhead unless one is free from the contaminations of the material modes, even up to the stage of Brahman. When a qualified Brahmana factually becomes a Vaishnava, is enlivened state of liberation, he can know what is actually the personality of Godhead. So this is the difference I was telling. How Prabhupada is so simple, very clearly explaining what we are, what is our position. Such a clarity, it is not available any other place. Nobody can explain this difference. why a Vaishnava is superior to Brahmana? So clearly Prabhupada is telling, because he is within the three modes. He is just Sattva-guna. But Vaishnava is above the three modes. Practice is Shraddha is above the three modes. That's why Traigunya Vishayaveda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. The faith is beyond the three modes. The goal is also beyond the three modes. That is why. And this very clear understanding, even though people may be very learned pandits, they may learn the shastras, but this clarity, nana shastra vicharanaiknipano sadharma samstapako, so what Goswamis have given clarity, it is not available in any other place. This is our great fortune. That's why our abhideya is very pure. That is why other sampradayas, why abhideya get contaminated, because there is some problem in the sambandha also. Means that explanation why a living entity is here, what is this, the sambandha has some problems. Why our acharyas put so much effort to explain the sambandha, Sanatan Goswami and Abhideya by Rupa Goswami, they have worked so hard to establish these points. And then based on the teachings, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Prabhupada, they wrote, because our sambandha is very clear, and they also properly chalked out the Abhideya process, which is a specialty of our Sampradaya, which is not available in other Sampradayas very clearly, because they don't know what to, they read, they do, but for us, okay, chanting 16 rounds, Prabhupada actually made it more practical. But this is a very unique contribution for our acharyas. We are so confidently practicing, and we know this is what we have to do. And everybody in ISKCON, they know what should do. Wake up in the morning, chant your rounds, and do Mangalarti, and you have to take prasad. So clear, and that's a speciality how we can see. Of course, we can discuss on the purport, but I just want to tell how special is Prabhupada and Acharyas, how they are giving so much clarity in this understanding. And we'll take maybe this verse. Vidyate hridayakandis chindante sarva samchaya chiyante chasya karmani drishta eva atmani ishvare. As the knot in the heart is pierced, and all misgivings are cut to pieces, the chain of fruit actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. But attaining scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead means seeing one's own self simultaneously. As far as the identity of the living being as spirit self is concerned, there are a number of speculations and misgivings. The materialist does not believe in the existence of spirit self, and empirical philosophers believe in the impersonal feature of the whole spirit without individuality of the living. But the transcendentalists affirm that the soul and the supersoul are two different identities, qualitatively one but quantitatively different. There are many other theories, but all these different speculations are at once cleared off as soon as Krishna is realized in truth by the process of Bhakti Yoga. So this we discussed, like there are 8 aspects of absolute truth we discussed. So people see the absolute truth in different aspects. First is Samshaya, there is Nastika, there is impersonal understanding, Nirguna, then there is Kliba, then there is Purusha without energies, Purusha with energies, then we discussed, then there is understanding of Mithuna, and then Parakiya. So there are 8 aspects people can, unless one comes to the highest aspect, because that's the way he is looking at the world. And that's the way his vision is. But if you can see Krishna, we will see the world in terms of Krishna. Then we will see everything exactly properly fitting. So Sri Krishna is like sun, and the materialistic speculation about the absolute truth are like the darkest midnight. As soon as the sun Krishna is arisen within one's heart, the darkness of materialistic speculation about the absolute truth and the living being is at once cleansed off. In the presence of sun, the darkness cannot stand, and the relative truths that were hidden within the dense darkness of ignorance becomes clearly manifested by the mercy of Krishna, who is residing in everyone's heart as the super soul. So this is what, when we able to see in terms of Krishna. That's why when Krishna, first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, na, everybody accepts. It is so easy to understand also. What is the first chapter? This world is full of problems. Arjuna is telling, I am in so much difficulty. It's such a big problem. Everybody understands. That is the way we look at the world. But second chapter onwards of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling, wait a minute. I will show you how to see this world. You see in terms of my vision. And that's what Krishna is trying to help Arjuna. So we have to see this world in terms of Krishna. So if we understand absolute Krishna, we see the world in terms of Krishna. The things are different for us. In the Bhagavad Gita 10.11, the Lord says that in order to show special favor to his pure devotees, he personally eradicates the dense darkness of all misgiving by switching on the light of pure knowledge within the heart of a devotee. So Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Enamamapya. Therefore, because the personality of Godhead is taking charge of illuminating the heart of his devotee, certainly a devotee engaged in his service in transcendental love cannot remain in darkness. He comes to know everything of the absolute and the relative truth. So they can easily understand what is relative, what is absolute. The devotee cannot remain in darkness, and because a devotee is enlightened with the personality of God, his knowledge is certainly perfect. This is not the case for those who speculate on absolute truth by dint of their own limited power of approach. Perfect knowledge is called parampara, or detective knowledge, coming down from the authority to the submissive oral receiver who is bona fide by service and surrender. One cannot challenge the authority of the Supreme and know him also at the same time. He reserves the right of not being exposed to such a challenging spirit of an insignificant spark of the whole, a spark subjected to control of illusory energy. The devotees are submissive, and therefore the transcendental knowledge descends from the personality of Godhead to Brahma, and Brahma to his sons and disciples in succession. This process is helped by the super soul within such devotees. This is the perfect way of learning transcendental knowledge. Only with humility we will be able to understand. There is a story. It is said this incident. They say that when Krishna was speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, Hanuman was also there on the flag on the same chariot. Hanuman did not understand Bhagavad Gita because he is up. Knowledge comes from up to down. But Krishna speaking down and Hanuman is up. He didn't understand this. So this is how we cannot understand this knowledge on our own. Of course, Hanuman already knows, but this part of knowledge which he spoke to Arjuna, he didn't understand. So this enlightenment perfectly enables the devotee to distinguish spirit from matter, because the knot of spirit and matter is untied by the Lord. The knot is called Ahankar. and it falsely obliges a living being to become identified with matter. As soon as this knot is loosened, therefore, all the cloud of doubt are at once cleared off. One sees his master and fully engages himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, making a full termination of the chain of fruitive actions. In the material existence, a living being creates his own chain of fruitive work and enjoys the good and bad effects of those actions life after life. But as soon as he engages himself in the loving service of the Lord, he at once becomes free from the chain of karma. His actions no longer create any reaction. So I will take this section maybe tomorrow in the first part, how this chain cut. But interestingly, about the Supreme Lord, this subject, what Krishna is telling, he is giving this knowledge, and uh, no matter how many times we read Bhagavad Gita, he gives more and more enlightenment. There is this story that Krishna was in Vrindavan, and he did not go to any school, and he just was herding cows. He don't know anything, no Sanskrit, nothing. He just know how to herd the cows. He was expert in it, and he became expert in playing flute, and of course dancing with gopis. That's what he learned, and is completely dumb in terms of any Sanskrit or anything. And when he comes to yes, Prithviraj, I'll just. So when he comes to Mathura, Vasudeva and Devaki says, "Arre, this fellow is completely dumb. He don't know anything. He smells like cow only, and he knows only herding cows, maybe milking cows, and he can shout like how a cowherdman shouts to bring the cows back, and he can play the flute, and uh, they don't have a dancing maybe." But then they thought, "Arre, we should teach him something. Otherwise, he will remain like this, a dull boy, dumb and dull." Then they go for some teachers in Mathura. Then all the teachers in Mathura are Vaishnavas. They say, "Arey, how can we teach to Krishna? If teacher means we have to take a superior position, we have to chastise our disciples. And we cannot chastise Krishna. They are all Vaishnavas." They said, no, we cannot accept Krishna as our student." They were worried, "Arey, how he will learn? Nobody is accepting him as a student only. He is so dull." And then they thought, let us go for a Shaivate. So that's why they go to Ujjain, where Sandipan Muni, it is a Mahakaleshwar temple. They are all Shaivates. They are not Vaishnava. Then they go to Sandipan. Sandipan says, "Okay, for me, no problem. I can accept him." He was not a Vaishnava that time. And then he teaches. In 64 days, Krishna learns there everything. And after that, he gives Guru Dakshina, and that story is all there. And then Sandipan means, "I want to give you a blessing. What do you want?" Krishna, "I don't need anything. I have everything." And say, I'm almost like God. I don't need it. Bhagavan. No, still I want to give you. Then he says, "Okay, I will bless you that whatever you speak, which will have a special effect. The effect is that uh, it will always, whenever people hear about it, they will always feel fresh. They always get new and new things in whatever you are speaking. It has that effect in that. So no matter how many times you read Bhagavad Gita, because the blessings of Sandipan Muni, you'll always get something new in it. People will never get bored. This is the special effect. Anyway, so Bhagavatam is also like that. We have to read more and more and many times, and I think many lifetimes we can read also. That is the perfection, right? So this is this famous section. We have successfully completed reading the purport. So we'll just take another part of this also. We will complete some more so that we will cover our syllabus. Maybe we'll take 2 purports and then we will go for shloka recitation. I'll just repeat the 8 stages of understanding the absolute truth which are given by Siddhanta. First is uh, samshaya. It's cleared when Brahma, when he comes out of the navel of the from the lotus flower, Supreme Lord. That time he is searching for everything. Where is Lord? What is truth? So he's in a samshaya state. So that understanding of absolute truth is cleared when we read that pastime. And then there is Nastikata of Hiranyaksha and Nirguna Hiranyakashipu. And there is Kliba. Kliba means no energy, no power. It is in between. And then there is Purusha, person without energies. Like many of the Abrahamic religions, they have some understanding is Supreme Lord, but they don't believe that he is completely powerful. They say Purusha but without energies. Then Purusha with energies. Then we have Mithuna, is not only Lord but his counterpart, Lakshmi Narayana, Sita Ram, like that. And then there is Parakiya. Okay, bro. So we'll go for the so we will read the next verse. Ato vai kavayo nityam bhaktim paramaya muda vasudeve bhagavati kurvanti atma prasadini. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight, because such devotional service is enlivened to the self. The speciality of devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, is specifically mentioned here. Lord Sri Krishna is Swayam Rupa, personality of Godhead, and all other forms of Godhead, beginning with from Sri Baladeva, Sankarshana, Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Narayana, and extending to the Pushavataras, Gunavataras, Leela Avataras, Yuga Avataras, and many other thousands of manifestations of personality of Godhead are Lord Sri Krishna's plenary portions and integrated parts. Living entities are separate part and parcel of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna is the original form of Godhead and is the last word in the transcendence. Thus, he is more attractive to the higher transcendentalists who participate in the eternal pastimes of the Lord. In forms of the personality of Godhead, other than Sri Krishna and Baldev, there is no facility for intimate personal contact as in the transcendental pastimes of Lord at Vajrapur. The transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna are not newly accepted as argued by some less intelligent persons. His pastimes are eternal and are manifested in due course once in a day of Brahmaji as the sun rises on the eastern horizon at the end of every 24 hours. Prabhupada is giving so many things in just one line, such a deep things. Prabhupada speaks in, he just gives in one line the such deep philosophies. So now this can be nicely discussed and explained. Maybe we'll just take it tomorrow. Now we have time for our sloka discussion of our shloka. So I will not go for tomorrow. We'll just discuss this very nice discussion. So we will just take the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. If somebody already knows it, they can just skip that this next 15 minutes discussion. And whichever shlokas they want to learn, they can join that part. Otherwise, this is which we are going to discuss every Friday and Tuesday. Whichever shlokas they want to learn, they can join. And what I will do, chapter wise, we will I will just put the recordings in the group. This we made one group for learning the shlokas. Chapter wise, I will make the what do you call recording, so you can hear, and when we hear little bit it is easy to memorize. Of course, if you have anvaya it is more easy, but somehow for I don't have anvaya, uh, I will just keep the Prabhupada's purports. For maybe first, second and third shlokas I will try to post the anvaya, and some shlokas whichever I will see whatever possible I will try to post the anvaya also in the group. Anvaya means uh, exactly the meaning and word will be according to the translation. You can see how the translation is, so it will become easy to memorize. But still, otherwise also these shlokas are little simple. First, second chapters, you will be able to easily memorize them. So I will share the screen. We'll try to recite. If you already know the shloka, you can just, otherwise you can just meditate on the meaning. So how the style we do it generally, if you want to memorize, is one first sentence we read, and I read one time, you have to repeat 3 times. Second sentence I read one time, you have to repeat 3 times, and both the sentence together, both the first 2 lines I read, you have to repeat 3 times, and then same thing with third and fourth. Whole shloka repeat 3 times, and by that time, most because some small shlokas you can learn in that one go only, we will be able to memorize them, and then we'll post the recordings. Any comments, anything you want to suggest? Okay, we'll do it now. What some of you can unmute and repeat 3 times behind me, so that I know that you're repeating. So I'll be doing the first. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So there are certain meters. This is 1 meter in, but there are many ways you can repeat it. जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चात्वेषविघ्नस्वराट्
जन्माद्यस्य यतो अन्वयात् इतरतश्चार्तेषु अभिज्ञानस्वराट्
जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयात् इतरतश्चार्तेष्वभिज्ञास्वराट्
जन्मादस्य यतो अन्वयात् इतरतश्चार्तेषु अभिज्ञानस्वराट्
तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरया
तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूर्याः तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूर्यः तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूर्यया
जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चात्वेषविघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरया
जन्मादस्य यतो अन्वयादितरतश्चार्तेषु अभिज्ञानस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूर्यः जन्मादस्य यतो अन्वयात् इतरतश्चार्तेषु अभिज्ञानस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूर्यः जन्मादस्य यतो अन्वयात् इतरतश्चार्तेषु अभिज्ञानस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूर्यः
तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्रात्रिसर्गो मृषा
तेजो वारिमृदं यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा तेजो वारिमृदं यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा तेजो वारिमृदं यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा
आम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि
धाम्नां स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धाम्नां स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धाम्नां स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि
तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यथा त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि
तेजो वारिमृधां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्नां स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि तेजो वारिमृधां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्नां स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि तेजो वारिमृधां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्नां स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि
We'll read the whole shloka 3 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We will just start from Janmadhyasya
यस्य
yato
यतो अन्वयात्
I will read first time and then you read 3 times. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditarataschatveshabhignaswarat Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muhyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Varimridam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirastakuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय जन्मादस्य यतो अन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञास्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूर्यया तेजो वारिमृतां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्नां स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय जन्मादस्य यतो अन्वयात् इतरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञास्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूर्यया तेजो वारिमृतां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्नां स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय जन्मादस्य यतो अन्वयात् इतरतश्चार्थेषु अभिज्ञास्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूर्यया तेजो वारिमृतां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्नां स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि
Yes, nice, thank you. So I'll just read the translation. Of course, if we learn Janmadhyasya yataha anvayaditaraschatvesh Tene Brahma Hridaya, by knowing the different sections, we'll be able to memorize the meaning also very easily, and by knowing the meaning, to remember the shloka also becomes easy. We'll just maybe we can do the, because you already had elaborate discussion on it, so we will try to take, we have 4 more minutes, we'll just do little bit of second shloka also. Dharma Prochita Kaitavotra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam
धर्म प्रोचित हित कैतवोत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् धर्म प्रोजितकैतवत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् धर्म प्रोजितहितकैतवोत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम्
वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्
वेद्यं वास्तवम् अत्र वस्तु शिवतां तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् वेद्यं वास्तवम् अत्र वस्तु शिवतां तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् वेद्यं वास्तवम् अत्र वस्तु शिवतां तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्
धर्म प्रोज्झितकैटवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्
धर्म प्रोजितकैतवत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवम् अत्र वस्तु शिवतां तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् धर्म प्रोजितकैतवत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवम् अत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् धर्म प्रोजितकैतवत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवम् अत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्
श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वर
श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वर श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वर श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वर
सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यते अत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषभिस्तक्षणा
यो हृदय अविरुध्यते अत्र कीर्तिभिः शुश्रूषभिस्तक्षणात् सद्यो हृदय अविरुध्यते अत्र कीर्तिभिः शुश्रूषभिस्तक्षणात् सद्यो हृदय अविरुध्यते अत्र कीर्तिभिः शुश्रूषभिस्तक्षणात्
श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वर सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यते अत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणा
श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वर सद्यो हृदय अवरुध्यते कीर्तिभिः शुश्रूषभिस्तक्षणात् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वर सद्यो हृदय अविरुध्यते कीर्तिभिः शुश्रूषभिस्तक्षणात् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वर सद्यो हृदय अविरुध्यते अत्र कीर्तिभिः शुश्रूषभिस्तक्षणात्
धर्म प्रोज्झितकैटवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वर सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यते अत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषभिस्तक्षणा
धर्म प्रोजितकैतवत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं
वास्तवमत्र
वास्तवमत्र शिवतां तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परेर्ईश्वरा सद्यो हृदयवर्ध्यते अत्र कीर्तिभिः शुश्रवेत् तत्क्षणात् धर्मप्रोचितकैतवोत्तमो निर्मत्सराणां तथा वेद्यं वास्तवमस्तु शिवतां तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परेर्ईश्वरा सद्यो हृदयवृध्यते अत्र कीर्तिभिः शुश्रवेत् तत्क्षणात् धर्मप्रोचितकैतवो परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवम् अत्र वस्तु शिवतां तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परेर्ईश्वरा सद्यो हृदयवृध्यते तत्र कीर्तिभिः शुश्रवेत् तत्क्षणात्
Hare Krishna.
हरे
Thank
कृष्ण
you very much. So this is okay na for you? All of you are okay with this style of doing? Small slokas will be easy to remember.
या ओके
Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Tomorrow, I think, tomorrow we'll not have. We'll meet on Monday. Hare Krishna.
Hare
हरे
Krishna. Thank you
कृष्ण
so much.
थैंक यू
Thank you.
थैंक यू
Thank you.